Welcome to another edition of the Talkin Jasper Sports Show Pro Composition. I'm your host, Nicholas Hodell. We have a lot of content to get to this week once again. So let's get straight with it. Starting with some college football conference title games. First up in the Pac-12, a blowout from Levi Stadium, 51-13, Oregon over Arizona. Well, this is a big statement game for Oregon, wasn't it? My gosh, I mean, it was an absolute blowout. By the time Arizona scored, and it was done with. It was done with. Just done with. So, not really a good game. Sorry, Fox, but not your best deal there, I'm afraid. And then the Big Ten title game was another blowout. So, Fox got two blowouts. Ohio State over Wisconsin, 59-0. 59-0 Ohio State. Statement made. I mean, these were one, along with Baylor and TCU, Ohio State was one of those three teams fighting for the fourth spot. 55-0 and 59-0 in a conference title game. Statement made. Period. I mean, after that, there's no way Baylor or TCU is getting in. And Ohio State did in game number 4. We'll go through the top 4 later on in our program. And then Florida State clinched their spot in the playoff with a 37-35 ACC title game victory over Georgia Tech. Man, these guys are lucky. I'll tell you that. I mean, they're getting lucky. And I'm telling you this right now, they've gotten through so many close games to ACC. I'm not going to say bottom feeders, but middle of the pack ACC schools. And we know that's not good of a football conference. So I cannot wait to see them play Oregon. I mean, honestly, in the Rose Bowl, conference football playoff semifinal, that might be a blowout. I mean, it was so close, practically back and forth. I mean, this is a game that really was very suspenseful. It was a good deal for ESPN to get. Very good deal on that network. Other conference title games, the SEC title game, 42-13 Alabama over Missouri, and they clinched their spot in the college football playoff through that one. And then Boise State winning over Fresno State in the Mountain West title game, 28-14. Boise State through this got their college football playoff New Year's Six Bowl spot through the Group of 5 conferences. And then the Conference USA title game, Marshall over Louisiana Tech, 26-23. So, again, Alabama, Oregon, Florida State, Ohio State, top 4 in the college football playoff. We will get to those games next week. We have a special college football bowl edition. And I will be picking all the bowl games. Tough job? Yeah, I think I can handle it. After all, I've been frustrated all these years with the brackets in college basketball. Yeah, I think I can handle the college football bowl games. Anyway, now on to NFL Week 14. Quickly, just going through these 5 games, which are dictated by our helmets over here. First on the 4 section of our table, Steelers and Bengals. Steelers getting the victory 42-21. And then leading this direction, Panthers 41-10 over the Saints. Now, quick statement of the NFC South. They are a horrible, horrible division. Only reason why that game's up there is because it was an NFC South divisional game. I mean, that division is so bad. We could practically be in last. Still a chance of the division title, but yeah, still a chance of the number 1 pick. That's how bad that division is. Ravens winning over the Dolphins 28-13. Seahawks 24-14 over the Eagles. And then the Patriots get the win over the Chargers 23-14. So now on to another loaded week of college basketball. Very loaded week. And we have Duke, previously 4th ranked Duke, getting it over number 2 Wisconsin 80-70. Now this is an interesting game in that ACC Big Ten Challenge. Very interesting game. Now, we know that there were some very good performances here. Tyus Jones had 22 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. And 2 other stars had 13 points. Terrell Okafor had 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and a block. And then Quinn Cook, an assist, steal, along with those 13 points. Now, again, Frank Kaminsky and Trevion Jackson had very good games for Wisconsin, but it wasn't enough in this one. You know, good tests like this are big for any team in college basketball. Big tests for any team, I will take that. So, you really have to understand that that's a very good game in which really was at it. So, Duke coming out victorious there in that one. So, very impressive job by Duke to get the win over number 2 Wisconsin, previously ranked. So, that's a very good job. Very good job. And then we had Virginia and Maryland play over this past week. 76-65 final, with Virginia getting the victory here. Justin Anderson had 16 points, 6 rebounds. And then Malcolm Brogdon had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. And again, really, it's interesting to see that Virginia did have more personal fouls. But yeah, they have the better field goal percentage, which I think leads to a lot of wins, better three-point field goal percentage. So really, those two numbers just add up to victory. That's exactly what it did here this time. For Maryland, they shot 40%, but Virginia shot 53% from the field. So that alone spells trouble for Maryland. That alone spells big time trouble. And then on that same night, you had Utah getting over Wichita State, 69-68. Now, if you watched last week, I really slammed Wichita State for their for their schedule every year, because again they do play in the Missouri Valley Conference, which for a top team of Wichita State to be ranked that high, previously ranked 8th, now 11th, it is a crap conference. I think we basically saw what could happen in the NCAA tournament if their seeded would go high, around like 9 or 8. They get killed they wasn't killed, but they get beat like that very, very easily. And it's one of those situations in which, yeah, it was an interesting situation. I mean, I will not give them down with that. They had shot a less field goal percentage, right? They shot a less field goal percentage. They shot a less 3-point percentage. So really, for Wichita State, they just didn't have the numbers going for them. They just weren't getting the shots they needed. They were 24-63. Might want to work on some things there. So, I mean, again, very impressive game from Utah, but for Wichita State, they need to work, for one, getting the non-conference schedule better, and two, making sure they get the wins in their conference to start out with. So again, very impressive win by Utah. And then other important games on that day, Iowa getting the upset over North Carolina, previously ranked 12th, 60-55, and then Notre Dame in overtime getting the win over Michigan State, 79-78. So now we go to the next day. And again, there were very good games all over the place. First with Arkansas and Iowa State. So Iowa State dominated Arkansas 95-77 to the point where I was done with it. For the first half, it was done. And I mean done. I mean, that's how good Iowa State was in this day. They really performed at a high level in that first half. They drove away, and they basically took this one for Arkansas early. Now, for TV ratings, that's bad news, but again, for Iowa State, they will take it. I mean, a win over Arkansas, that much too. That much is very, very impressive. And then we had a very good matchup between Kentucky and Texas. Now, I was watching a lot of this game, and Kentucky using their platoon system. Again, very impressive stuff for Kentucky. Facing against top teams and winning is not easy. But home field, home court, definitely helps Kentucky here. And Kentucky is a very, very deep team. Texas, not that much. So, really, for Kentucky, they have a very deep squad, which means they can get away with some stuff. I mean, they have a very, very, very deep squad. And that's what you need in college basketball to win tough games, like facing ranked opponents. These are the kind of deep rosters that help you win games, that help you win those big tournament games. And if they have that deep roster, Kentucky does. I mean, they are really my early best team at this point. But anything can happen between now and March. Just saying. And then other important games on that day alone, 71-65 Kansas with the W, and then 82-63 Oklahoma getting the win over Missouri. Both of those games part of the SEC Big 12 Challenge. I would say Arkansas also part of that SEC Big 12 Challenge. The previous day before the Texas-Kentucky game, and on that day we did see another upset. West Virginia went down 74-73. LSU getting that upset in that SEC Big 12 Challenge. Very good challenges. ACC Big Ten, SEC Big 12, very good challenges there. Those challenges give teams very, very, very good opponents. Very, very capable opponents. That's what we saw with the LSU. And that's what we saw in the ACC Big Ten with Notre Dame and Iowa. Very good stuff. So Arizona and Gonzaga faced up against each other. Arizona getting a 3-point win, 66-63. But Arizona is probably the best team in the West. Gonzaga, West Coast Conference. Again, I don't usually slam them, but they are very, very used to being ranked. They're very, very used to being ranked. That's one of the things about Gonzaga that is not staying with Wichita State. Gonzaga is used to being ranked. Wichita State had a huge surge last year, and that big surge helps them get in the rankings this year. So, improved schedules can change teams. I mean, Gonzaga, though, they are one of the better teams in the West, even with their West Coast Conference situation. Easily the favorite to win West Coast Conference every year. I mean, along with like St. Mary's, and they believe from the stats, they said they played a good game, but I haven't watched the tape, so wanted to see that. That could change. And then on the same day, now this loss is pathetic. Michigan losing 72-70 against the New Jersey Institute of Technology Highlanders. They're an independent school. Come on, Michigan. Really? This is a type of loss that can drop you 2, 3, 4 seeds easily. Come March. This loss is extremely unacceptable. Teams in the bubble, bye-bye. A loss like this, teams in the bubble, bye-bye. Michigan in the bubble, bye-bye. I mean, they cannot end up in the bubble. Otherwise, they will be worse. It is quite that simple for Michigan. They get upset, bye-bye. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, Michigan better not slip to that situation where they are in the bubble. Otherwise, it could be a very, very long offseason. Having to play the NIT, going through all that other stuff. I mean, it's just a pain in the butt. Especially for a basketball program like Michigan. And the other important games on the day of Gonzaga, Arizona, NJIT Michigan game. Green Bay getting upset over Miami, Florida, 68-55. Ooh. And then Wisconsin getting rid of Marquette, 49-38. Wisconsin, those are great tune-up games. Great tune-up games for a conference like the Big Ten. Toughest conference in college basketball easily. So you really have to perform well in that conference. And Wisconsin, they have great tune-up games. Not bad for Atlanta, so good competition there. So, very good stuff from Wisconsin so far. Then upsets on December 7th, we had San Diego State going down 49-36 over Washington. Again, that's school in the Pac-12, so they got some good upsets over this past week. And then Clemson beating Arkansas in overtime, 68-65. Arkansas, they did drop out of the AP poll. As a result of that, again, next week we will bring in the entire AP poll, as well as the college bowl games. I'll try to pick all those bowl games on a separate show. And as always, you can always watch Talkin Jasper Sports on Saturdays. You know, I will be doing one this week, so that is out of the question of the possibility of not having one on Saturday. That's going to happen. So for Talkin Jasper Sports Pro College Edition, I'm Nicholas Hodell, signing off. We'll see you soon.